Hello, everybody. How's it going? Good morning. Yeah, ooh, I like that. Crowd participation's good. I would just like to start by acknowledging the Yagara and Turrbal people as the traditional custodians of Meanjin, the land in which we are meeting here today. And I'd also like to pay respects to the Yagara Turrbal elders past, present, and emerging. Yes, my name is Kiel Tillman. It's spelled weird. It is pronounced Kyle. If you call me Kiel, it's no big deal. But get it right. So, I am the creative director and a partner at the amazing creative studio based on the Gold Coast called Pennybridge. So, my notes here are different to what I wrote up there, but I'll just read the screen for a second. So yeah, I live and work on the southern Gold Coast, not the northern Gold Coast like James, which is the traditional land of the Bundjalung people and the people of the Yugambeh speaking language. Super grateful, super conscious of how awesome of a place we get to live, and just the whole southern Queensland, southeast Queensland sort of region is amazing. So yeah, I like to draw and paint and do brand stuff, and I like colour. Oh, I was meant to do something before that, hang on. And here is a little clip. If you're unfamiliar with what I do, this is meant to be like a day in the life of me, but this is way more polished. Usually there's a lot more emails, Asana, tasks, a lot more boring stuff, but it's pretty cool. Watch this. There we go. I wish I got to do that stuff every day, but that's kind of a little bit about what I do. So today we're going to talk about reflection. And as an elder designer, I've been asked to do some of these things quite a bit. And I always find that the actual process of preparing keynote speakers, like keynote talks like this, is like the perfect time for reflection. So you get to look back at stuff that you've done, and yeah, it's like got a good excuse to sort of reflect, because sometimes you get stuck in your day-to-day and you don't actually have a look back and see what you've done. So yes, for doing this for about 20 or so years, I'll just say 20 because every year after that just seems like a fucking lifetime. So I'm not going to go through like my whole life or even like my early design career, because we'll be here till lunchtime. So I did this. It's like a big list. That's basically my life and what happened throughout that time. If you want to read it, go for it, or take a photo. I don't know. But anyway, it's a little bit depressing seeing your whole life just on one page. But it turns out over the years, I've actually been able to learn some things. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And also, disclaimer, take this advice with a grain of salt. If it doesn't work in your life, don't use it. So, one of my big learnings, I think, is put yourself out there. So create stuff, output stuff, get it in front of people. And there's kind of like 3 things that have been essential to turning my passion creating into a career. And they are, create something. Show people the thing you created. People pay you to do the thing. which is awesome, which is my favourite part, which I think is everyone's favourite part. But, you know, if you don't do something or create something, no one's going to pay you to do it. And if you do create something, you don't show people what you can do, no one's going to pay you to do it because they don't know you can do it. So without those first two, you don't get the third. So this is a perfect example. I'm going to show this next case study just because you guys probably heard it or seen it before. I'm sorry, but it's like a perfect example of this. And that was when I got to work with Wu-Tang. So it all came about because they announced that they're doing a 3-night tour at the Sydney Opera House. So I'm like, hell yes. I bought tickets, and then I was like, oh, I've got an idea for a t-shirt. So I designed it, and this was it. I plastered it all over social media. I was tagging the members. I was doing whatever I could, getting people to share it, and nothing. I heard nothing. So I was like, no, I'm not giving up. I want this to happen. So I found their clothing range, and I started tagging them and messaging them. And then I actually heard back from someone, which was like, fuck, yes, it's that. And then they're like, oh, the upside down W is actually Method Man's logo. Can you do some revisions and I'll show my boss? I'm like, hell yeah. So I did this and didn't hear anything back. And for months, a couple of months, I was like, hey man, how's that design? Is it good? Is it good? And this is all unpaid, obviously. And then next minute, he was like, yeah, it's sick. My boss wants to talk to you. And I got on a phone call with this guy called Power. And we spoke for almost an hour of power. And then I got off the phone and I was like, turned to my wife and I'm like, I think I'm designing all of Wu-Tang's Australian New Zealand merch. And I did. So, it was awesome. I got to collaborate with some Indigenous artists, and yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a little bit too successful though. So by the time I got there on their 3rd night at the Opera House, there was no chance of me getting one of those Opera House t-shirts. They actually sold out on the 1st night. They reprinted and sold out again. So I got a bit stuffed up with that one. I still see people walking around and they've got the t-shirts and I want to steal it off their back. Might have to talk to Silk and Squeege about getting some custom ones. Yeah, but this all came about by just putting myself out there, being persistent, and going after what I wanted. But it did take a fair bit of tenacity. So, tenacity. Do you want me to read it? Yeah, I'll read it. So it refers to the quality of being determined, persistent, and unwilling to give up. It describes a person's ability to hold on firmly to a goal or purpose despite challenges, obstacles, or setbacks. That's pretty much like my whole fucking design career, probably similar to a lot of you guys as well. So, you know, without having tenacity and going after this, it wouldn't have happened. If I gave up at that first hurdle, there's no way I would have got to work with one of my favourite hip-hop groups ever. And then even once we had locked in the job, it was hard, and it took a lot of work to actually get it across the line. So, reflecting back on my career, another thing that always stands out to me and has always sort of helped me to succeed is connection. Like, this is so important. So connecting to everything. So you got to connect to your work, you got to connect with your clients so they know what the hell's going on. But I think the one main thing that you've got to connect to is like connect with people. Just like you guys are doing today, you're at an event, which is like massive. So all I can say is try and just connect with other people around you, because yeah, it's just amazing to get involved. And like building community and engaging with others in the industry is crucial. And then by doing this, you might find your people. So find the ones that get you, the ones that you can rely on, the ones that trust you and can rely on you. Because, you know, there can be fake people in this industry, like any industry. This is not the only one. So yeah, you've got to try and find the ones you connect with on a deeper level. So none of this kind of surface bullshit, right? Because the surface crap is for networking events, which I don't really like. It kind of feels like transactional, exchanging business cards, blah, blah, blah. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And there's like an expectation. Yeah, so it's kind of gross, it's sick. So my opinion is networking sucks, but building relationships rules. So actually connecting with people without expecting anything in return. I find that if you connect with people on more of like a human level, you get to see more of their personality, they open up a bit more, and then you can basically make friends. Look at that. That was us driving up here this morning. Yeah, because basically navigating this life and this career is a lot better when you get to do it with friends. So I've made lots of friends in this industry, not just by going to events too. Like I've made a lot of connections online. And then earlier this year, we were lucky enough to travel to the US, where I got to speak at a conference called CROP in Austin, Texas. So here I got to meet people in person that I've been online friends with for like 10 years. And then I also got to meet like a lot of people that I had never met before, and like a lot of my design heroes. And yeah, it was an amazing, incredible experience. I don't know if you can kind of see people in there, but like Draplin's there, the Brethren design crew is there, and there's so many. Tyler for Creative Pain, there's Brett from Young Jerks, the girls from Good Tut. I mean, anyway, it was wild. So yeah, this all came about from building connections and maintaining those friendships, and yeah, it finally happened. Here's a little recap of the trip, just because it's fun. I just had to do that. So one of those people that I finally got to meet after a long online friendship is James Martin, who he goes by Made by James. You guys might know him that way. So we connected a fair few years ago, and since then we've sort of formed a really great relationship. There we are over there, having a Zoom. Man, I don't know when that was, it was a long time ago. So over the years I've been able to work on a bunch of projects with him. I'm always super grateful when he reaches out and have the opportunity to work with him, because he's such a great guy. So proud of everything that he's doing in the educational space, and yeah, and that was just over building connections. We've also got some cool things coming with him in the pipeline, so keep your eye out for that. Just quickly, here's another one, a really cool project I got to work on. Basically, a bar owner reached out to me and said, I'm doing converting the alleyway next to our bar into another bar, and can you paint these massive walls in 1 week except I want it to be all different styles and different sort of vibe. And I'm like, yes, I can do that. But I couldn't by myself, so I got some of my friends together and we created this. Yeah, man, that was so much fun. So it just goes to show, oh yeah, you can clap, because it's not all me. That was some awesome artists there. Yeah, we had Dion, we had Courtney, we had James Smalls, and we had Bianca as well. Yeah, it was just so good, so good. Probably one of my favourite weeks of my life, because I just got to hang out, paint, and then at lunchtime we'd go in and get like $5 steaks, and then go back out and paint some more. It was sick. But another sort of connection point is connecting to your craft. So figure out what you're good at and figure out what you enjoy doing. One project that's kind of like a culmination of all of those things was the branding I got to do for Springtime Festival on the Gold Coast. I knew the direction I wanted to take as soon as I saw the brief, and I just trusted myself, backed myself, just went ahead and did it, and then it paid off because the client approved it first go, which was pretty good for like the city of Gold Coast. But yeah, but then we were able to we rolled it out across heaps of different touch points. There was like digital ads, event signage, motion graphics. We even designed like these large inflatable archways and sculptures and everything that were scattered through the event. So we had to be across like so many different touch points of that project that for some people that would freak them out, but I actually loved it. Because brings me to my next controversial opinion, and I know that James Barnard hates this one. Fuck niching down. So, I don't know about you, but if I was doing the same thing all the time, I would go crazy. So I understand niching down to like a certain extent, but I love doing different things. So I love doing murals, I love doing illustration, I love doing branding. Heck, I'm doing packaging at the moment. I'm pulling what's left of my hair out, but I still, at the end of the day, I love it. Do you want me to pose for that one? So yeah, I just can't imagine choosing one thing to do. I love them all, which brings me to my next point. Love what you do. Because if you enjoy something, you're going to keep doing it, perfecting it, you become great at it. You end up putting in your 10,000 hours, you immerse yourself in it because you love it. So once you find that thing that you love, sink your teeth in and just start. Like, I don't really know many reasons why you wouldn't. Obviously there's failure, imposter syndrome, all that sort of stuff, but that doesn't matter, just start. So don't wait around for the perfect time to start that passion project or to learn something new or even start a business. Because there'll never be a right time. You'll just end up in paralysis by analysis, like, oh no, I've got to get to this level before I can do that, or I've got to get this thing done before I can start this next thing. So just start, because the time's now, motherfucker. Sorry for swearing, I didn't realise I was going to be kids here. I was actually going to try and get all you guys to yell that back to me, so do it silently inside your heads. So another massive connection point, probably the hardest, is connecting with yourself. So it takes constant work. Honestly, painting like a humongous mural is like way easier for me than trying to look inward and figure out who I am. But what they say is nothing worth doing is easy, so this is where you've got to take that time, reflect, and just figure out what you're doing. Are you on the right path? Take a little time. Because one thing that I've reflected on massively over the past few years is you got to know your limits. Because I definitely didn't. I spent about 7 years running my own business, solo. I persisted through that, even though I'm definitely not a good businessman. I struggled through like all the admin, cash flow, tax, trying to find clients, trying to keep clients happy, trying to get clients to pay you. And then I was like juggling family, juggling all these other things, and then I had to find time to actually do the work and be creative. So I had a lot of success in many, many ways, but I had to bust my ass to make it happen. And at the end of the day, you end up sacrificing a lot. So I sacrificed relationships, time, money, my health, like both mental and physical. And yeah, I'm only just sort of getting back on top of these things now. So that was pretty much me. I didn't take up smoking. I've got asthma, so I can't do that. But I had some other vices, that's for sure. I like sweet treats and beer, so yeah. But reflecting on that time now, the work that I managed to do and output within that 7 years was like bonkers. It was crazy. The people I got to work with, not just the output, but the quality of the output. I look back now fondly on it, but I think when I was in it, I was in the thick of it, I couldn't see it. I was just always kind of striving for that next thing. And like, it's not sustainable. And yeah, you just feel like breaking down and going to sleep on the floor. So even though I'm hyping up, get out there, chase your dreams, the time is now, motherfucker, all that stuff, make sure that you know your limits. And yeah, I also learned that change is good. Like, it's scary, but it's good. You can get really comfortable where you are, even if it's like shit, you can still be comfortable there. So, kind of came to the revelation that I no longer wanted to work by myself. I wanted to work with other people. So this is around the same time that Paul and I started talking about merging our businesses. And then we kind of did that for almost a year. I think it was almost a year on the dot. And then, yeah, the stars aligned and we merged. And now we are Penny Bridge Creative. We are an unconventionally professional creative studio, which means that we like to work with brands that are unconventionally thinking. Doesn't mean they have to be crazy brands. They could be a lawyer or a dentist, but they just want to be a little bit different. They want to have a bit more heart. And, we have a studio full of surfboards and skateboards and punk rock posters, and then when people come into our studio, we sit down and we can actually talk about business as well. So that's where we are. And I can't actually believe how much cool shit we have done in the past, 16 months. It's wild. We have held an event. We had some of our favorite bands playing there. We've won awards. We toured the US. We spoke at the design conference. Got to speak at CreativeMornings Brisbane. It's crazy. And the things that we've got in the pipeline are also pretty crazy. So reflecting is good. You can see sort of, where the hard work kind of pays off. And it is hard work. It's still really fucking hard work. We've got to go back now to the Gold Coast, and we've got to go back to work, to massive piles of jobs that we've got to get through. But anyway, I'm going to show our show reel because it's rad, and I've got a big screen. Enjoy. still so good to see on the big screen. Even though I've watched it like 20 times, I'm putting this video together. I mean, this talk together. But another exciting thing, we've got a little mini doco coming out very soon to celebrate 10 years of Penny Bridge. And that is launching on 10th of the 10th, 10 years. It's cool. It's so super cool. A little peek behind the scenes about how it happened, the people involved, and yeah, it's really cool. So if you want, I don't know, just keep an eye out for it. It'll be on socials, it'll be on the website, it's around. So, bring it all back. This is it, this is the wrap up. Sorry, I've gone over it a little bit. Reflection. I don't really know how to describe it, but what I do know is that it's constantly changing. So, like my perception on things that happened like 5 years ago are totally different now than what they were when it was happening. And then I'm sure in like another 5 years, it's probably going to be different as well. So that's kind of why I designed this piece. So while the design is technically like a reflection of itself, it's all just a little bit different. So you always sort of see things differently to what other people would have seen it. Yeah, and we've got the eye in there because it's like looking, reflecting. You've got flowers for growth. You've got the starburst and the spirals just for chaos, and then you've got the smiley face because you've just always got to try and have fun, have a positive outlook, which is why you should always have a positive reflection, because it's very easy to beat yourself up about things that you've done, things that have happened, but you can't change the past. You can only learn from them. So I urge you to take some time today for some positive reflection, or over the weekend, or any time really, whenever you want. I'm not going to dictate your lives. But you will be surprised by all the things that you've achieved, because you guys are doing an awesome job. Well done. That's it. Thank you very much for listening.